So Blasphemous is pretty fan-freaking-tastic. It's a lot of fun. And if you've never played a Metroidvania-style game, I would recommend checking this one out. If you are a Dark Souls fan, I recommend it. And if you're a Bloodstained fan, definitely you should check this out. If you've never played any of them, basically this is a 2D platformer that you go through a interconnected map system. One place leads to another, which leads to another, which may lead you back around to another location. Everything flows together for the most part. And in here, we're playing as the penitent one, the silent protagonist. And you're just given a sword, a small health bar, and told that you have to go kill 3 humilities to proceed further through the whole map. And throughout here, you're going to run into such a love letter to pixel art style games. Through the details in the background, to the character models themselves, everything is well crafted. Enemy designs are awesome as well. Everything looks good, the moves are telegraphed well, and it's always a treat to go to a new area to see what you might be running into to fight. It definitely adds to the experience. Soundtrack is awesome. It is so tone-fitting to this part religious Spanish flair to it, and it just feels right. When you get to sit and hear these tones playing, when you're in the deep underbellies of the sewer system and it just kind of echoes through the place. It hits you. So as these Metroidvania games go, it kind of gives you a quest saying, hey, go do this stuff, and kind of just opens up the map to you. So you can interweave your ways through all these different passageways. And you're going to find yourself backtracking a lot, going through areas, discovering things, maybe backtracking to where you just were, so on and so forth, to complete missions, to help out NPCs, though there are only a few, but to experience this world. And as always, you start off with a very small health bar, a very weak magic bar, quote unquote, and a kind of meaningless attack. But as you go along, you gain different abilities, different attack styles, and even the ability to increase your health bar and also give you more vials of blood that you can smack on your face to get more health back. How cool is that? There's been times throughout this game that I have backtracked, I've got to a boss, I run into them, and while the bosses themselves aren't Dark Souls level hard, they're difficult. You expect a bit of a challenge. But what I've discovered, as with these games go, I left the area, went to somewhere different, ended up finding tons of upgrades and more abilities, and I went back and beat the boss in a couple rounds. And the game doesn't tell you that, but it kind of does. It's like, hey, look, you should probably go somewhere else to see if you could find some stuff that might help you out a bit. Wink, wink. And speaking of Dark Souls, there is just a slight sprinkling of that throughout the game. A lot of the lore is told through the items you find. You find different body parts of different idols throughout this whole world, to the rosary beads you use for upgrades. All these things interconnect with the world, and you do have to take a moment to read those descriptions because that is part of the lore. And I love that they did that. Being about 4 to 5 hours into it, it's really a game that I've been recommending to people left, right, and center. Though I was a Kickstarter backer on this project when it was announced, I am more than happy to still tote around that this is a solid game and should really be enjoyed just by about anybody that's willing to put up a little bit of a challenge for themselves. And it's bloody. You're going to run into religious icons throughout the whole time, again with that Spanish flair, so you're going to end up running into priests and nuns and things like that. And it all works really well with the tone that they put. When it comes to combat, combat feels really stinking good. Surprisingly, especially playing on a 2D world, you would think that you would lose some of that detail compared to a open world or 3D realm kind of title. Actually, things work really well. You have a vertical slash, a horizontal slash, and you can use the environments to your advantage. So if you get to an area that there's enemies above you, you might be able to hit them. Keep that in mind. Use that stuff to your advantage. And much like other Metroidvania games, you will die in here. Don't be afraid to die. The only thing you really lose when you die in this game is a bit of guilt. And that guilt stays on the map, so you can keep dying throughout and everybody's scattered throughout the whole map. The good thing is, it doesn't affect your upgrades or your tiers that you get from killing enemies or anything like that. Only thing it really affects is your magic bar, in a sense. And that allows you to go back to that location that you did die, go there and pick it up and gain that little bit of magic back. That way you can keep going. And you will die, again, throughout this game many times. There are shrines scattered throughout the whole place that you stand at to pray, and that kind of locks you into a checkpoint system there. And if you die, you end up back at that same one. As you're adventuring, you're going to get close to that mark every time until you start getting used to the lands and really investigating. You could walk by shrines and not even notice that maybe if you would have went left instead of right, you could have had one. So it's one of those things to always keep an eye out for. And they place them in a good enough fashion that you're close every time you get to one. You're like, oh, I'm getting kind of low on health. I'm kind of freaking out a bit. Oh, health shrine. Great. Playing this on the Nintendo Switch, it works really well. I've noticed next to no issues with performance, sound quality, in handheld mode, or on docked mode. It works really stinking well. And props to them, because they got it out on every platform. So you can play this on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So who could really argue with that? To wrap it up, if you've liked Metroidvania games, you need to pick up Blasphemous. If you're fresh to the Metroidvania style games, you should still check them out, because there is some great replay value in here and time to sink in and really enjoy this world. It's detailed, it sounds good, it looks good, it functions good. There's not really a lot bad that you could even try to say about this game. So that wraps up the impressions for Blasphemous. If you're interested in some gameplay footage, click the link to your left. That'll take you to our running playlist that we have videos posting every day for it in no commentary fashion. And to the right is a link to our page itself. We have tons of videos going on over there. And until next time, you guys, stay frosty.